What's up, Jake Johnson?
What's going on, guys? How are you? I like the term expert here.
Well, we had to figure out, a way to do this. And I mean you are an expert. Let's not act like you're not looking through everything that's going on with the
Always, yeah.
Bears.
Always. Well, I also love our text back and forth, man. You're my insider.
I do what I can to try to keep you updated on what's going on, even though I know that you're out here trying to find every pass rusher that you can find
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Bears so that they can win this season.
And I like Yannick a lot. I think it was perfect. I liked him more than who's the guy that the Carolina just signed?
Was it
What's his name
Chris
again?
Johnson? No, not Chris Johnson.
No, the defensive end, Justin, whatever.
Oh,
Justin
Justin Houston. Yeah.
Houston. I like Yannick way more than that. I like that he's young. I think if he can handle the rush, we could sign him to a multi-year deal, and I think we might have our DN for a while.
Oh, by the way, Jake is joining us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Chicago670 the
Bears
score.
hat.
Is that a corduroy Bears cap that you're wearing?
It is. It's I've got some stuff from the Bears that I grew up with that I keep carrying with me as I age and get fatter and fatter and my head somehow gets bigger. So as long as I can still fit into this stuff, I'm going to keep rocking it. But I will say, hearing those New Girl clips, it is sad how big of a believer I was in Jay Cutler back then.
I think we were all in the same
my hands
boat,
up
though.
too. I was so excited when they got
Well,
him.
when we got him, that arm he had, and then when we had Brandon Marshall and Jeffrey, there was a moment where we were very real. But I will say, I think this build, and I think Ryan Poles is that guy that we've all wanted. And I think Justin Fields is such a special QB that in Chicago, the fact that people are still complaining, I'm like, we have what we always wanted. This is our franchise quarterback. We got 10 years with him. So now let's see what we do. But this is our group. And we're either going to win or we're going to lose with Justin Fields. And I'm all in on him. I'm betting on him.
See, Dan, these are the text messages. This is what goes on.
We all have in our various social orbits. We all have our personal meatballs that require servicing
Sure.
on occasion. So yes, I completely understand. I've got several in my orbit as well, where during games I get these angry all caps emails and texts from people, depending on how old they are, depending on their preferred mode of communication, and I tend to either pacify or make things worse. I can't pledge to.
Well,
do
I
one or the
still
other.
have a few friends. One of mine's a Chicago local, an actor named Craig Anston, who no matter what the Bears do, he won't believe. And he's a diehard fan, but he always wants to see the negative. And I just don't see it with this group. I think Ryan Poles is an incredible general manager. I mean, the amount, if you read anything about the Bears, the way the fans have been complaining about no pass rush during the offseason. People have been crying that we don't have a pass rusher. We're not playing football yet. So we've got one now. We're building it right. Look at what he's done at the wide receiver position, what we had a couple years ago. I like the Chase Claypool deal. Everyone was complaining we gave up a second rounder. Chase Claypool's a real wide receiver. He's a potential number one on certain teams. I think he's going to have a huge year for us.
So what was your reaction when the DJ Moore trade went down?
You know, I was really excited. I didn't know much about him at the time. I only knew about him from when he scored that touchdown and took his helmet off because I was watching those games for our draft pick to see if we can get the number one. So I didn't know how good he was, but everything he's brought to the table, I think, has been incredible for us. And I love that he and Fields, it feels like Fields finally has a true number one. So as a fan, I just feel nothing but excited about our group. I like our O-line. I like that, right? I like our draft pick. I'm not seeing major holes in our team yet. I don't think we're winning the Super Bowl this year, but I think we're getting to the playoffs.
If there were a Bears bar for Hollywood, like if you could watch games, and I'm trying to picture who would be there. Is there a secret handshake, like when you and Jim Belushi see each other or something? Is there, because we've been stuck with this same sort of aging crowd of the Bears fans that have pushed themselves to the fore here. Like, who's in the club?
You know, in terms of younger guys, and when I say younger, I mean guys in their 40s. Ike Barinholtz is a genuine big fan. Ashton Kutcher is a big fan. It starts to dry up after that. Then you've got the older generation, like the Murrays in that group.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. The Bears haven't been, if you're going for the younger people, you need to have like a really special team so the bandwagoners can jump on. But I think this group, we're going to bring the Bears are going to play in LA this year against the Chargers. And if by the time we get there, we're a real team, and that's going to be a Sunday night game, I think you're going to see a lot of Bears sweatshirts and Bears hats from like random actors or nowadays, like, internet stars or content creators. But I think there's going to be a new world coming after that if we're good.
Can you remember the moment? Because I'm guessing it happened like for all of us, like last season. Can you remember the moment when you were watching Justin Fields and you were like, he's a real dude. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we were probably texting about it, but I also felt once we drafted him, it was the beginning because I don't watch a lot of college football. So I only watch the big playoff games and I only know like the best players. And I feel like as a Bear fan, we never get one of those guys. Like I really wanted Deshaun Watson. I didn't understand who Mahomes was at the time, so I didn't care about that. But I feel like as a Bears fan, in the back of my head, I want Watson. I hear we have a trade and we get a guy like Mitch Trubisky. And I'm always like, that's just not who I wanted, but I'm going to try to get excited about him. And Justin Fields was the guy that I wanted. So watching what he did in college, I thought like that translates. And I never understand these experts who try to like create some spin. But if you can dominate in college and you've got all the intangibles that could work as a pro, I'm like, take a chance. And so once we had him, one of those, probably the run he did against the 49ers where it was that like crazy scramble where he ran in the end zone for a touchdown. One of the runs where he ran like 70 yards against Miami.
Yeah, that even the coach from the Dolphins was begging him to stop because he was doing so much inside of that game, which was one of my favorite highlights from the season.
Yeah, for me, it was the when he ran over that poor Detroit Lions defender and just sent him to the moon.
When you got 6'4", 225, like coming at you full speed, it is a thing.
I want to talk some Hollywood here too. The question:
did Jake freeze? I think he froze.
Oh man, we froze. The Cylons froze him.
Yeah, see the damn Cylons. Like we get
they got into the multiverse.
Apparently, the Cylons got into the multiverse to cut off our. We're gonna reestablish. That's Ray's gonna try.
Yeah, that's a story. If the Cylons got in the multiverse. Now we got Jake back here as we were sharing our Justin Fields highlight memories. I wanted to ask you this as we want to talk about obviously some of the work that you're doing. What's kosher to talk about right now? Because I don't want to put you in a difficult position relative to the striking actors or writers.
Yes, so I can't promote any of the products that I have. So the reason is, from what I understand, is we're just trying to get a deal so we can all go back to work, and so we're trying to kind of put a silence on everything that we have so that we're not encouraging people to watch so that these companies can't keep making money. But I think it's more of a symbolic gesture just to say we all want to work again.
Okay. What's the latest? How are you feeling
about the strike?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a nightmare. I feel like it's such an easy way that we could get out of it, and it's time the streamers need to just step up and make a deal. I think the public opinion might be that actors and writers have a fortune, and a lot of the actors do. But if it's like the NFL, the quarterback might make a lot of money, but a lot of actors and writers are like, backup offensive linemen or special team players. And like you need them to win, but a lot of these guys aren't getting paid a lot. A big part of my crew who are character actors can't pay their rent anymore. And they're on big streaming shows. And if they walk down the street, people know them. So they have to bump up residuals. They have to start paying that kind of character actor class more. And, we just got to get a deal done. The striking is as bad as it gets. It's such a drag.
I've seen a lot of actors kind of post their residual checks, and even I was like, wow, I didn't realize that the money was as lean as it is for people who were series regulars. Like, that shocked me, Jake.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like that. It's very similar to the NFL in that they do still, to say no one's making money is a lie, right? There are still big contracts, there are still a lot of money, but it's not evenly distributed, and it's not distributed fairly in a way for certain. I mean, it's honestly the NFL is the only way I could kind of make sense of it in my own head. When you find out like a certain special teamer who you value as a fan, you see their contract and you go, man, he's probably got a 7-year career. That's not enough money. And when you consider he's being taxed at a 50% level and a bunch is getting taken out of it, and then their insurance goes away, you just go like, that's not a lot of money. So, the strike's a really ugly thing. I really hope it resolves quickly. I know all my buddies who are actors and writers, we're all just dying to work. It doesn't get much deeper than that. We all love to do this. This is our passion. This is our hobby, and we're not able to do it right now. So, I mean, we need the people to sit down and make a deal so we can get back to making stuff, because it's the best job in the world and we all want to get back to doing it.
Jake, are you going to sue Dansby Swanson for stealing your hair?
Yeah, man, I am. What do you feel about Swanson and the Cubs, by the way?
We love him.
How can you not be excited about this team right now?
I feel the same way. There's a real build, but I also have residual baby energy about breaking up the 2016 Cubs. So I'm really divided.
I don't think you should be divided anymore.
You think there's a new era and this group is special?
I think that I don't know if I want to say special yet, but I don't think that you should, because look at what's happened. I think that those guys did what they needed to do on their way up, and they ended up winning you a championship. And I know that you covet that as a Cubs fan.
It was incredible. 2016, that Game 7 was the best game of baseball I've ever seen in my lifetime's 100.
But now
breaking of that curse, I mean, that was huge.
Yes, but now they're moving in the right direction, and I would have been upset had they sold this year. So I'm glad that the team took it out of management's hands by winning games.
Okay, so then let me say this, because we were texting about this, because I was thinking we were going to sell. So if we don't re-sign Bellinger, then I'm going to be a little bit mad we didn't sell. Now, I think Cody Bellinger, if he ends up being a 7 to 8 year Cub and we pay him the real money, I think he's a absolute stud. He belongs in Chicago. I'd love to have him. If he's a 1-year player and then next year he signs with the Giants or the Yankees, and we don't have a lot of prospects, and we get in the first round of the playoffs, that's a miss. But Marcus Stroman should stay with us. Like, if we're not going to sell these players, then we have to re-sign them.
Well, you do have prospects. The farm system is in decent shape. And what if I told you the money that you're earmarking for Bellinger would go toward Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, I mean, look. Do I really believe we're going to land him? I don't know. Do I believe there's going to be a lot of articles and excitement that get me very excited about him? Yes. Is there going to be a ton of talk about him and all these Instagram pics that fans make him in a Cubs uniform? And yeah, he would look good. I just don't know if that brand is going to end up on the north side of Chicago.
It doesn't seem like it.
No, I got a real fear that, I live in LA now. I've gone to a bunch of Dodger games. When the Cubs come in town, I see him. And I have a really bad feeling he's going to end up in Dodger Stadium and, just for a lot of years being great. But Cody Bellinger, we got right now. Let's lock him in.
So what would be sufficient? So let's say, if I said, Jake, the Cubs made it past the first round of the playoffs.
Sufficient. Yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, look, this team, the turnaround they've made is really special. It's very exciting. A win in the first round of the playoffs is significant. It's so fun. But then if we win, what do you do with Bellinger? Like, do you guys view him as a 1-year deal?
I mean, I think that because of who he is and the type of money he's probably made, I hope that he hasn't outpriced what the Cubs were thinking for him. But he's young. He plays multiple positions. He's athletic, and he hits bombs. If you were ever looking to give big money to a player,
it's him.
It would look like Cody Bellinger.
Yeah. So here's my only problem with the 2016 Cubs is look at what happened to him. But I think if Baez was still in Chicago, he wouldn't have fallen off. He's fallen off because he's in Detroit. Imagine having to work in Detroit. We would all fall off. You go from playing on the north side of Chicago, which must be absolute paradise, to living in Chicago, one of the great cities of America, to playing on the Tigers in Detroit and no one even really cares. And he's such a passionate player. I'm like, I still think he'd be doing something special. I liked Chris Bryant.
I was going to say, now do Chris Bryant.
Yeah, so Chris Bryant, I was okay to not pay that money, but Anthony Rizzo should still be a Cub. Anthony Rizzo should be our first baseman. I did not understand not signing him. I did not understand not fighting to re-sign him at first base. Before his concussion, he's a 280 hitter like he always has been, and he's a leader. Wilson Contreras is a big mystery to me. I don't know what happened in St. Louis.
No, they went
bus tossed him.
Yeah, they went defense first. St. Louis bus tossed him.
Yeah, St. Louis completely bus tossed Willie.
Guest on the Bernstein
Holmes
show is Jake Johnson, Hollywood actor and heartthrob. And you gave us an inadvertent pitch in this LA Times article. And I circled it. It's the kicker of this interview that you did with the LA Times. And it's a sports metaphor that you used about your career and how unlikely you think your success has been. And
I don't remember this.
Well, you said to Yvonne Villarreal, you said, I was not a picture of a guy who you go with athletes. That's a first-round draft pick. I'm the equivalent of a guy from Europe who is like 37, spent time in a Lithuanian jail, and one coach went like, maybe we'll have him on the bench, and I keep playing. I want to make this. Yeah. I want see. I want to option this. I want to make this, and maybe you don't even star in it. Maybe you just executive produce.
I'm in. I'll partner with you.
I just think that we do this.
So where that came from is Andres Nocioni. Remember the old great bull, Andres Nocioni?
Of course.
Yeah, Dan covered him.
Yeah. Sure. So when I watched Nocioni play, I was really grinding as an actor, and the business was just, kicking my butt on a daily basis. And Nocioni must have been something like 6'4", but they would put him at a power forward position. And I'd always have moments, I'm like, there's going to be a moment that his body's going to break. And he just kept going. And I started thinking to myself as an Andres Nocioni type. And then I started working with Damon Wayans Jr. And I watched him when he auditioned for New Girl. I felt the way a general manager must feel when they see like a 17-year-old prodigy and they want to take him first overall. I was like, oh, this is a first-round pick comedically. I was like, as an actor, I was like, he's a great-looking guy. He's really funny. He's got great charm. His dad is Damon Wayans Sr. He understands the business. I'm like, this is something you just signed to a 10-year deal. And then next to him, I'm like in the wrong sweatshirt, forgetting my lines, sweating. And I'm like, yeah, it's Andres Nocioni and a top overall draft pick. I mean, for a loose ball, though, I'm putting money on me. I'm going to get that loose ball. But if I were the kind of actor, if I had a combine, I would test so poorly.
You know what? Like, you don't have to make yourself Noach. You can make yourself Jokic.
I was
right. Second round pick.
Right. I was going to say even like an Alex Caruso type who is just who's just going to fight everybody for everything.
At my age right now, as the hair's starting to go, I'm not willing to connect to a Caruso type.
Okay.
Well, it's too brutal to see the thinning and see it go and know that the future is going to come. I don't want to be a guy who's got a headband and a bald top. I'm just not ready for that yet.
Well, we're all doing the best that we can in that regard. And it is not working out.
And it's not working out, and it's happening fast.
It is, man. So if this Cubs team makes it to the playoffs, are you going to make your way back here for a playoff game?
Without question, yeah. I was back. I threw out a first pitch during the Red Sox series, and it was in tribute. The ownership was really cool, and it was in tribute to my father, who had passed away a year before, who was the biggest Cub fan of all time. The guy who got like myself and some of my friends and my brother all into the Cubs. He loved them. And before he passed, one of the things he said is like, get on that field for me. Like, pay your respects for me there. So I was in a jersey with his nickname Crocco on it. My number was his address to his house in Chicago, 425. And my brother and I and all of our kids, it was all about paying respect to Crocco that day. And I will say, since that happened, they've gone on a bit of a tear. So for my brother and I, we're feeling like there might be a little Crocco magic in Wrigley right now. And so I will ride this out as far as it goes. I'm diehard into it. I really would love to see the Cubs do something special. And if they do, then I want to lock in this core and see what we can get out of them.
Jake, as always, man, we appreciate the time. Good luck to all of the people in the struggle. We hope that you guys can get back to doing what you love very, very soon with a fair deal. And we love when you're checking us out. And there's nothing funnier than coming home and checking a text message, and it's a picture of Jake watching us on Twitch because he wants to know what the hell is going on.
What's going on with the Bears?
With the Bears. So we appreciate your love for the show and the city and your friendship, man.
You guys are the best. Thank you, guys.
That's Jake Johnson. That's fun.
You want to talk about meatball? There it is, right there.